Hi, my name is Hailey Allen. My Indian name is Tach. I am Yakama Numatilla, and I wrote a paper for the Center for World Indigenous Studies, the Women's Traditional Medicine special issue. I did a two-part series, and the first part, and I had the privilege of creating my an independent project, and I explored the women of the Yakama Longhouse, also known as Washat. And the Longhouse is a community that I grew up within and am a part of. The approach that I used was grounded in a participatory ethnographic framework, and I relied on elder interviews as well as the ceremonial participation and the first food gathering. So the first food ceremonies are a foundational aspect to the Longhouse practice, and that is involving the harvesting of the first foods. And we have 5 ceremonies of feasts for the first foods, and they start in the spring with the salmon, and then the roots, and then end with the berries at the end of the summer. I situate myself within this paper as my experience as a Yakama woman, but I want to make it clear I don't represent the Yakama Nation. I don't represent any tribe in its entirety, and I only speak on what I've been shared, what has been shared with me. I start my paper with a Yakama Indian legend, the legend of the Southwind, and it focuses on environmental degradation as well as environmental restoration. But a main focus of this story is on the matrilineal medicinal knowledge and the cultural transmission of that knowledge and the practice, the repetition, the sacredness, the guarding of that knowledge, and how it contributes to the resilience and the resistance and the perseverance of the Wampanoag peoples. And this really helps orient my paper to Yakama cultural and Indigenous worldviews, as it establishes not only perspectives and a feminist value of the matrilineal knowledge and the sacredness of the women and in being knowledge bearers, but also the spiritual power and the restoration, the cultural resilience, and it establishes landmarks. Within this story, I then transitioned to Huli, which is the Sahaptin word for wind, and I use that as my theoretical foundation as well as a living lesson. My great-grandmother, the Atwai Mimo Smith, Mimo Jim is her maiden name, she explained to my father that the wind is Mother Earth's breath. And so within Mother Earth's breath, there is teachings infused within that. And so these teachings I use as the metaphor of Huli. I use as Yakama women that carry the relational, the cyclical, the embodied transmission of knowledge, and how sacred that is in sustaining cultural continuity and to uphold ecological restoration and integrity of the environment, and to steward the ecological landscape and our medicines across generations. So the learning happens through observation and through participation, and it comes directly from the land. It goes through the land, and that's where it is first drives, and it shifts. The land is alive, so it's always shifting, and it's guiding spiritual, cognitive, emotional, cultural teachings, and each one of those domains are important piece of coming to know. My great uncle, also consider him he was a grandfather figure to me, the Atwai Kiech Russell Jim. He inspired all of our family. He was a Longhouse leader, environmental champion, protector of our lands. And I have here one of the bookmarks from his memorial, and it says read and dance, and the other side says never stop learning how to help Mother Earth, and it says read. And so he was a big inspiration for me pursuing higher education, and for learning how I can help leverage my education to help our people. There's many ways to learn, and I receive these teachings as a gift, and I treasure them as a gift. And with that is my responsibility to reciprocate when I receive these teachings. And in that way, I reciprocate to show up for the land, to show up for the next generation.